Running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans, welcome to Talking in Ovals. I'm Alex Cuesta, my partner in crime over there as always, the man you all come to hear, Dave Hyatt. What's up, brother?
No, I'm going to sound like a broken record again, but what an amazing weekend for track and field.
I promise it's not a soundboard and he's not pressing the button. It seems like it is everywhere.
I loved the atmosphere at the On Track Fest and the Adidas Atlanta games. Two awesome, they had like the fans, everything was interactive. And, how about Robby Andrews running 14:43, sixth fastest ever? We had Caitlin Toohey, 15:03, breaking the college record. And how about this kid, Connor Burns, going down and getting Galen up by a few tenths, running 13:37. This sport is just on a whole new level. You could say shoes, you could say training, but I don't care what it is. It's unreal what we are seeing every single weekend.
The sport's on a whole new level, and it kind of gets me more mad that we're not bigger, but we'll get to probably that a little bit later. So before we get into the fun stuff, like, share, follow, subscribe, give us a 5-star rating, Spotify and iTunes. Spread this word of mouth. Find us on the socials at Talking in Ovals. And for the record, today's Monday, May 8th of 2023 that we are recording this. Now, we're going to get to the PRs because we have a massive amount of PRs. But before we do that, go back last week's show. We had an awesome show. We had my good buddy from Marathon, Adam Vess, former 5K national champion. In the Nike Nationals, great Marist runner, ran over at NAU, Northern Arizona before, it was a big deal. And just an all-around great dude, had a great story, still in the industry. Go give that a listen. It's awesome. Now, PRs. We have our most ever PRs here. Hyatt,
yes, we do.
Get us rolling. We got to roll with this one because we got to get on with the show.
All right. I'm going to start off with our buddy Chris Stefelski at Westfield at the Union County Relays. We had James Hamilton run a 2:03 in the 8. Caleb Stockman, 2 flat in the 8. Joe Piero, 48.6 in the 400, which is a school record. The discus relay of Owen Paul, Finn Minduck, Joe McGovern through 453 feet and 11 inches, and they broke the Union County meet record in the 4x-mile. A team of Eamon Mason, Alex Valencia, Jack McCormick, and Avery Keith ran 17:56 for the 4x-mile. And then South Brunswick from our coach Adam Nalvin at the GMC relays. Eric Hundy jumped 42.1 in the triple, and Jason Kaiser ran 14.75 in the 110 hurdles.
And then we have a whole bunch more over at my alma mater, Manchester Township, over at the Ocean County Relays. They set a 4x1 school record, 43.54. Manny Swain, Tyrone Benjamin, Joe Curick, and Mubarak Adaragba. Sorry, Mubarak. I'm going to butcher your name every time. In the 4x2, they set another school record, minute 30.13. Joe Curick, Jared Ellis, Mubarak Adaragba. I'm going to get it right. See, I got it. And Tyrone Benjamin. On the triple jump, Vander McFarland did 43 feet, 2.5 inches. And then also in the triple jump, Mubarak also again, 43 feet and 0.15 inches. Rolling right along. Good friend Megan Blue over down in Chesapeake High School. She sent us this one. Oh, that's over in Maryland. We're expanding, coach. We're in Maryland. Yes. We have Akela DeVries. She ran a 62 in the 400 meter. And now on to college, Marist College, my alma mater there. At the MAC Championships, Grace O'Neill, 1.62 meters in the high jump. School record, good for third place at the meet. Juliana Cropo, a freshman, threw the 35.87. That's 117 feet, 8 inches in the javelin. Good for sixth place. Sarah Levins with a huge 45-second PR in the 10K. Kate Murtaugh had a 31-second PR in the 5K. Noah Brown, 4.10 meters in the pole vault. He's the champion of the MAC with that. Amari Mathis, freshman, placed third in the 100 with the 10.84. And both guys in the 1500, Brandon Deary, Chris Praxis. Brandon in the qualifiers ran a 352.88, 1500, huge PR, IC4A qualifier. And Chris Praxis ran a 351.17, good for fourth place and the second fastest time in school history. And last but not least, Monmouth, good buddy Jordan Torney sent us over there for the CAA Conference Championships, their first year competing in them. They took second place, had 18 medals, and Jordan Ricketts was a part of that. 52.9 400 meter hurdle. Big PR, good for third place. His previous record was a second slower. And if you know anything about the hurdles, that is a monster PR. And then all of Jordan's decathletes and heptathletes, PR, David Strong set a school record, 6,165 points. Thomas Gibbard PR'd in the decathlon. And in the heptathlon, Annie Rutledge, Abby Boggs, and Haley Gurrieri. I'm sorry, Haley. Butchered your name probably last. But they all set PRs. But man, That was a mouthful. I freaking loved every moment of it because that was
Absolutely.
awesome. We could talk about, all the big things that Dave talked about early on, like Katie doing her stuff, Katie Tui and Connor Burns and all that type of stuff. But this is it. What I just talked about, the PRs there, that is the lifeblood of the sport. The big people doing the big things, that's awesome. But the, college, high school athletes grinding out, getting PRs, your everyday runners just running a 5K that just broke 30, your marathoners, that is the lifeblood of the sport. So if you're a person that's sitting there like, I want to break 4 hours in the marathon, and you don't think it's special and you do it, send it to us. We want to tell people. We want to hear about your PBs, your PRs, whatever you want to call them, and we want to let the world know. So keep sending them. That was fantastic. Now we're going to jump into the meat and potatoes of the show here because we have a hell of a show for everyone, one that Dave and I have certainly been anticipating. Dave kind of foreshadowed our guest because he mentioned his wife early on, Josette. But we have Robby Andrews. He is a Manalapan High School in New Jersey track great, two-time Meet of Champions champion, and an Olympian in 2016. Robby, what's going on, my man?
Guys, thank you so much for having me, man. This is quite the privilege. Thank you so much.
Privilege is ours. We absolutely appreciate it. So I want to jump right in, Robby. It's our first segment that we do with everybody. And the first question we ask is, when did you get that spark to do running, to be a runner for your whole life? Because a lot of people have a different time when it kind of clicked like, this sport's mine. I'm going to do it. So when was that moment for you that it was like, I could do track forever?
Man, I grew up around running. My dad ran. Both my parents ran in college. My dad ran at UPenn, and my mom ran at Wagner College in Staten Island. And my dad started coaching. He was coach at Wagner. Then he started coaching high school in Staten Island, and then he was doing like his he was doing program like. He was always coaching, and I have an older sister, Kristen, and so my sister and I, we always were like opened up to it. We always had this chance to like go to a track or go to a track meet, or whether it's to run or watch daddy do whatever, So it was always there, but it was never like, hey, all right, Rob, we're going to the track today, and you're going to bang out 12 by mile. It was always like, hey guys, you want to go to the track? Like, I just got a pair of spikes for you guys to share because me and my sister somehow always had the same size foot. Oh yeah, I wonder how that worked out. Thanks, Dad.
Smart dad there.
Yeah, exactly. And because we loved it, it's like, oh yeah, we're sharing shoes, yeah. But so we always were like, love to go race, but like, if it wasn't a race, then no. And then I was like, I was a pretty small kid. I was like, when I went to high school, I think I was like 4'11", like 90 pounds maybe. Like I was just tiny, but I thought I was going to be this great basketball player, and I just kept fighting it. And because cross country sucked, and like it was hard, it was hot, and I was like, I just want to play basketball, go to the beach, whatever. And then the team started getting a little better, and like I started winning some races, but I was like, I'm still a basketball player. And then a few years passed by, and gets to the point where my junior year, I'm like, do I really try out for the JV basketball team again? or do I try to like run at the Millrose games or something, at Madison Square Garden? And that was kind of a no-brainer. So, I made that big decision to, skip basketball. It's like, all right, Rob, you're going to be a runner. And I ended up absolutely loving indoor track. It's still my favorite season to compete in. But it took a while. And I still wasn't even like in love with running at that point. It was cool. I liked winning. I liked racing, but like training was a chore. And that's generally not how you get great by when you're like really forcing something. So then my senior year, like I lost a few big races as a junior. So I lost Meet of Champs as a junior to one of my good friends now, Brett Johnson, out of Ocean City.
Brett was a monster.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett was a monster. Yeah, he set a meet record actually at Meet of Champs that year when he ran as a junior. I think he ran like 4:09. He closed in like 56 or something. It was crazy. Yeah. But I kept losing, and it killed me. I was like, this sucks. Like I hate losing. And so before my senior year, I was like, Dad, like I want to be really good. Like Like I want to be the best. And my dad was, and he was helping coach the team at that point. And my dad's like, all right, well then this is what you have to do. He's like, I've never forced you to do this, but like, I'm going to tell you, if you're asking for it, this is what you're going to have to do. And I ate it up. I was like, let's do it. At the time I was like running 50 miles a week over the summer. I was like, dude, we're training. Like, this is intense, man. Like running 10 miles and long run, like we're going to work, man. So, but it was just cool. And that was kind of the summer that I really fell in love with the training and the process, and like seeing how much I put into it and what I got out of it was, it was everything, and then that really just started it all. And I had it was a fine cross country season my senior year. It wasn't anything special. I didn't make Foot Locker or anything, but Brett did.
You broke 16 though at
yeah. Oh man. See, people don't even talk about that anymore, man. Now it's all about freaking.
You're talking to Dave Hyatt. Dave Hyatt's an encyclopedia when it comes to like knowing all this stuff. Dave is like, I can't remember like what I did in like anything. And Dave will sit there, no, you did this and you did that. You placed here. Like he knows it all.
Oh my God. You guys are amazing. Well, so yeah, I broke 16. I got fifth at meet of champs, but I was fourth as a junior. So I was pissed about that. But anyway, so like then indoor comes around and I set the 1,000 record. I set the 800 record.
Yeah, you sure as hell did.
The
you sure as hell did.
Just jersey record. 227, man. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, man. Well, thank you guys. Yeah, and first prep under 150. That was like I was really proud of myself on that one. And splits on that were 50. I'm going to brag a little bit here because I'm still pretty pumped with it. Splits were 56-2. 53 flat for 149.2.
That just goes to show that you ran a terrible first half of the race. Like, a coach's perspective, I'm hearing that and going, anyone else was like, that's a great negative. And a coach is like, the hell were you thinking? Like,
I think that's kind of foreshadowing for his pro career with that kick.
Well, it's because I was never much of a time trialer. Like even as a pro, especially as a pro, I was never much of a time trialer.
Yeah.
And it was always just about competing and trying to win the race. And that was like one of the only times I cared about the time. And of course the race was plan didn't go to plan at all. It was like, Siddiqui White out of Allentown. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So he was supposed to like take it out pretty hot, and which it's not that 56 is like slow for the indoor 800 at the time, but like we were expecting like a 53 or 54, and but in hindsight, it's like I don't know if I would have run as fast if I had gone out any faster. Like that's just what I was comfortable doing and stuff.
And that race was at the
Armory.
Yeah. Right? So
yeah.
Did you ever run at Red Bank in high school?
No.
No.
Oh, did they abandon Red Bank by the time you were there? Maybe because maybe Ocean County. Yeah, no, we had the bubble by then, Hyatt. So
the bubble.
You missed out on Red Bank. What do you mean? Pardon me. You ran at Red Bank once, Hyatt. It was a gym. Robby, I shit you not. It was a gym floor, and it was
160 meters.
It was 160 meters. It was like a round squared oval,
and that's where all counties and Chicago were.
Robby, if you went there and ran a 210, you were running like a 201, too flat. Like I'm not even kidding. That was a good race. Like you had to take it into lane 3 to like keep.
Oh my God!
It was awful. So I do have to.
They didn't have bank tracks when I was in high school. All right, the Armory was even flat.
I don't think I ran. The only time I ran at a bank track is when I ran at the Armory. Any other time, Jersey City Armory wasn't banked.
Jersey City was wood floor. It was like
you're old, Hyatt. But so Robby, I have to say, your dad is any dad that's listening, any mom that coaches their child or is in proximity of coaching your child, take notes of how Robby's dad was. Do not force your kids to do anything. Do not force them to do a sport that they don't want to do. Do not force them to do the sport that you think they will excel in, because 95% of the time, even if they will, they're going to end up hating that sport. It does work out at times, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, Dan, just let your kids do what they do. And Robby came around. His dad let him do basketball, and then when he realized that unless you're dunking and you're 5'8", 5'9", it does not matter what you do in high school. Like, so that's notes. Your dad is obviously awesome because he could have very easily pushed you in that direction right away and been like, this is what you're doing, and you would have done it. But your dad's awesome. I just want to throw that out there. That's a parenting tip 101 there.
Well, thank you, Alex. And I to say the least, I couldn't agree more. And it meant so much that it was my decision to, this big decision to leave basketball, to go run. Like, it meant so much that it was my decision. It wasn't, my dad's making me come to indoor track. Like, this sucks. Like, I'd do anything to play basketball. It's like that. That doesn't last. And I don't think I'd be running if right. I was like kind of forced into it, because I didn't enjoy it. Like, it wasn't fun for me. It didn't really click with me right away. And because I found it myself, it meant so much more. And you know who else was a big basketball player in high school? Josette Norris. And she ended up finding her way to the track. Cutie pie from Tenafly.
Don't get in trouble. I imagine she's sitting right there. Do not get in trouble. From a married man to a married man. Do not get in trouble right now. Moral of the story. Encourage your kids to play other sports, encourage your kids to explore things. And if they don't like what you thought they were going to like, so be it. But it means so much more when the kid finds it themselves. And it's really, really hard to do as a parent. I don't know how my dad had that kind of patience, staring at this little bundle of talent that I was as a little 5 foot for nothing. But it really means a lot to me. So, Dad, if you're listening, thank you for everything. And obviously he was proud of you enough to allow you to continue to play basketball and and take track as like the secondary sport, and that just goes to show like a certain level of just like caring about you as his child more than what he thinks you can be, letting you be what you want to be, which is just awesome. So totally. I just want to say how great it is, and I say this a lot too. It's kind of my clockwork thing. Like like clockwork. Every single great that we've had on here, great runner, is like, yeah, I didn't want to run, but I started winning, and then that became a drive to get me to win, like to a T. Whether it was Johnny Gray, the Sarah Slattery, Steve Slattery, Mike Rutt, it doesn't matter. Even we had Ian Hahn on. It does not matter. They're all like, I was a soccer player, I was a swimmer, I was a this, I was a that. And then out of nowhere, like, yeah, but I started winning. And then I started to buy into the train. And then I fell in love with the process. It's like, yeah, it takes winning to really fall in love with running. Like, I think it's like, God bless the people that like go and just run and fall in love with it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I could be that type of person either.
So Robby, you are a senior in high school, breaking national records. What made you choose to go to Virginia? Was it Coach Vigilante, or like I'm sure there were tons of different schools that wanted you to run there. What made you come down to the decision to go there?
So it's funny, man. So kind of like I was saying earlier, so Brett like kicked my ass as a junior, and like I was good. I was good as a junior. Like I ran 4:11 in the 1600, and I wasn't much of a 2-miler, but I was fourth in MOC, and I had a 152 800 from my sophomore year, but I was only 154. Only 154 as a junior.
It's like everyone knew who you were. Like, you were on everyone's radar. I remember being at Marist, and like, because we're proximity with Jersey, we had a few Ocean County guys like and stuff, and Shore Conference guys, and we're like, oh, we all knew who you were. It's not like you were a nobody.
Well, thank you. Well, and that's kind of what Vidge saw, because he's a Jersey guy. He grew up in Morristown.
Yes, he did.
So he has that affiliation for the Jersey kids. Like, he knows what it means, what you run at Homedale, and how lousy the weather is the last weekend in March, what you run at how Rebel Relays, or whatever it was. Vidge he really connected with me right away. And I actually remember as a junior, so that's 2008, Texas won all 3 relays at the Penn Relays. They won the distance relay. They won the 4x8 DMR and the 4x mile, because I had Leo Manzano.
Mm-hmm.
And I, as a Jersey kid, I'm obsessed with Penn Relays. My dad ran at UPenn. Like, we love Penn Relays.
It's the greatest race ever.
Yeah,
except for that 4x mile. That 4x mile can kick rocks. I hate it.
Oh,
I hate the
This year's 4 by
last
mile?
leg of the
Oh,
4 by mile. I
they all went-
hate it.
They all jogged and made
The worst tradition in track and field is the last leg of the Penn Relays 4 by mile. I am going out there right now and putting that into the ether.
No,
man, dude, it's just I like watching Villanova, especially this year, watching
That was
Villanova
awesome.
celebrate the win. You know, it just makes you realize the runners don't give a shit about the time. Like they don't care at all about it. They all you care about is winning at Penn.
But I
But
wanted
for-
sub
but
16.
for-
Like
Yes,
I
everyone
wanted that.
else. Yeah, yeah. But
And
like,
you know what?
You're
We got to start making the athletes do that because that's how we're going to get fans, man. We got to see teams
yeah.
going 4 flat all around. And you know what? Pardon my French, fuck that. I want to see Virginia put their 4 best out there and just destroy it, okay? Like,
they're gonna break 16.
Dude.
I mean,
there was
Gary
no
Martin's
reason
a
for Virginia to not put their 4 best out there and go run like 1540 something and do something stupid.
or Washington
Dude, well,
has like 10
Washington,
guys.
yeah.
from
Washington, yeah, exactly. So
it's you know, and to play devil's advocate, it's really hard to run your PR by yourself or from the front, you know. But that's the point, is that there's 5, 6, 7 teams that have these 356 milers now.
Yeah.
So just go out and do it, you know, and get your
We'll have
anchors
multiple
in a good
runners that
spot.
fast.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's
Washington
I mean,
had
that was-
had like 8 guys this winter go under 4.
the same race. Yeah. It's wild. Sam Ellis, Princeton grad, you know, shout out Princeton. But
Princeton, Jersey.
yeah, and yeah, it's the anyway,
So sorry to go back on the side. Yeah, back to Virginia.
We
Sorry.
digress. We digress. So I watched Leo cross the line 3 times, and I was like, Dad, I want to go to Texas. And he's like, well, Texas is a good school, and they're obviously a good running school. He's like, okay, let's look into that. You know, he's like, I think you're going to be good enough to run there. He's like, but I don't know. Like, you know, we didn't know. And Vidge called me that summer, and he said, hey, Robby, this is Jason Vigilante from the University of Texas. I have to go away for the summer. I'm going to Beijing with Leo Manzano to the Olympics. Ever heard of him? Don't commit anywhere. I'll call you in a month. And I was like, okay, I won't. And you know, so that I get a bunch of other calls, you know, and well, like not that many. It's like, you know, it's not like I was a 405 or 404 guy as a junior, or like, you know, sub 9 or sub 150. You know, it was good, not great. So like it was a lot of Northeast schools. But so anyway, he calls me in a month, and he says, hey, Robby, this is Jason Vigilante with the University of Virginia. How'd you like to drive to school instead of fly? And that was just like, get the heck out of here. I think this is what it's going to be. So I took a visit, absolutely fell in love with Vidge, fell in love with Charlottesville. School was definitely a little daunting. I wasn't quite the academic side of it, but it was good, not great. And you know, Vidge gave me the confidence that I'd be able to make it work academically. And he said, I'm gonna get you to be like Leo. And I was like, that's all I needed to hear. Like, let's do it. And then Brett committed, and then we had a bunch of other like we had an awesome recruiting class, but it was kind of like everyone in on it together. Like, hey, I think we can do something special here. And we kind of just took a leap of faith and made it work.
So what are some of your greatest memories? Like, we went down some of the cool ones from high school and stuff like that, but are there, you know, walk us down a little more in college too, like your college career and, you know, going to the pros and stuff too. What have been some of your best memories and, you know, of your accomplishments, of anything you did as a team, things like that?
Well, I hate to beat a dead horse here, but going back to Penn Relays, my freshman year in 2010, we were so pumped, and man, we didn't run a DMR. We didn't run a 4 by mile. Vidge picked the 4x800 because it was going to be Saturday at the Penn Relays. Usain Bolt's coming. It's still the most crowded Penn Relays it's ever been in the history of Penn Relays.
Yep.
And me, Andy Weeding, and Foster from Penn State, you know, there was 3 really close teams, and Vidge just said, you know what, we're going all in on the 4x8. We're going to do it. And I ended up beating Andy, kicking Andy again after beating him indoors, and
Indoor Nats as a freshman. Yep.
Indoor Nats as a freshman. And so to win Penn Relays as a freshman in front of the biggest crowd at Penn Relays history, that that will kind of forever be one of my biggest and best running moments. Like, it's so hard to replicate that. Even like in Olympics, it's like you just can't even compare an Olympics to a Penn Relays, even because Penn Relays, it's so many Northeast fans that like are into it. And the Olympics, it's like, they're there for Usain Bolt, and like, yeah, the 1500's cool, but like you go to Penn Relays, like they're rooting for those Northeast kids. And it was just, it's really, really memorable. And it's really stuck with me for a while.
And it's a relay race with you and your three buddies. Like, you're not out there by yourself. So like you get to share that whole experience with other guys on your team, which is the best.
Totally. So exactly.
Quick question. So as this is happening, like you go from your senior year, you're indoor, like you're setting national records, right? You have a really good senior outdoor year. Now you're a freshman, indoor Nats, Penn Relays. I can tell you from the outside looking in, like the legend of Robby Andrews, the kid from Jersey, from the small school in Jersey, coming in, kicking doors in. It was just growing and growing and growing. And the pride from Jersey runners all around were just like, Robbie's our guy, like that. And especially
that's, my boy right there,
that's our boy, like Manalapan. I can throw a rock from Manchester, Manalapan.
Short conference.
Like the pride was all there. Were you starting to feel some of that, or were you just still in the moment of competing? Like, or did you kind of have an awareness, like, I'm doing a lot of really great things right now? And, so what was that mindset as you kept on accomplishing really big things?
Man, this is pre-Instagram. This is pre-Twitter. This is like Facebook's heyday.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of just friend requests of people who like had like a running picture as their profile picture was just mind blowing to me. I'm like, it was the support that I got from, of course, New Jersey, but like just from like the running community as a whole it was just mind blowing at the time. It's like, I didn't, who am I? I'm just this little kid from suburban New Jersey. Like, I'm just running races. Like, I don't know anything, but I definitely felt the love and support. Not in like a pressure kind of way. It wasn't like, oh yeah, like, if you don't do this, you're nothing to us. Or it was just like, dude, we love seeing Jersey kicking ass. And I was like, hell yeah. Like that's all I'm about, man. Let's just race, run hard, and leave your heart out there. That's kind of the Jersey way, man. And it was a really cool time. And Vidge did a great job of like keeping me super grounded. And, I never, you got to have a little bit of an ego to be
when you toe the line with those, when you toe the line with the best guys there,
right.
Like, you got to believe you can win every time.
So you got to have a little ego, a little edge, and Vidge did a great job of making sure I had just enough humility to go with that blind faith that, I don't care if I'm racing a 6'6" Olympian who's run 3:30. It's like, nah, you can do this, kid. I believe in you.
Awesome. Have you ever gotten any friend requests of people with your picture, like the fact that like you're like their favorite runner and things like that? Like, have you ever got any of those friend requests? No. I got to change my picture now.
Oh, man, dude, well,
I'm gonna go change that picture to the one you just sent me.
then I gotta unfriend you, man. Yeah, and so that way I can accept it. Yeah,
that's fine. I'll unfriend you. I'll do it on my end.
So, what went into the decision to leave Virginia after your sophomore year, right?
So
indoor sophomore year, right?
Indoor junior year. Yes, it was after my sophomore year. So my last season competing for the team was cross country of my junior year. And so Vidge ended up leaving UVA, and it's now an Olympic year. It's now January of 2012, and it's so funny how I wasn't even thinking about this, but Vidge was like, you're 6 months away from making an Olympic team. And I was like, what do you mean? The Olympics are, oh my God, the Olympics are in 6 months. And he's like, yeah, well, you have the standard because it counts from a year ago. Like, you ran 144. He's like, dude, you can do it. You made the final in 2011 at USA's. Like, Charles Jock made the team. He's like, you've run really close to him. Like, you're going to have a shot to make this team. And I'm coaching Alan Webb right now. And I think you guys you would be a really good fit for each other right now, because Alan was going through a huge transition phase. Yep. And him and his wife just moved back to Virginia. He was actually a volunteer at UVA, which is really, really cool.
Oh, nice.
And
that's awesome.
Yeah. And so I actually said no at first. I said, Vidge, I need to stay in school. Like at the time I was in a 5-year program for education. And so I was technically exactly halfway done. And I was like, dude, I can't leave school. Like if I don't have a scholarship, like I don't know what I'm going to be able to do. And he's like, well, you'll get a contract, you idiot. I was like, oh, right. Like people get paid to do this. He's like, yeah, talk to Alan. People get paid to run American records. And so I ended up trying to stick with the team, and it really didn't work out for me. It was I ended up getting injured right away with the new coach, and there was no connection. There was no, especially what Vidge I had, like someone you win 2 NCAA titles with. It's like obviously there's just something there. So I'll never forget March 1st. I ended up leaving the team, and Vidge agreed to coach me, and I signed Ray Flynn as my agent. So to answer your question, I had absolutely no interest in becoming a professional runner at that point. The only thing I wanted to do was graduate college in 5 years, become a high school teacher, and coach New Jersey track and field, cross country and track and field. That was like the end all be all dream for me.
And that's what I did. And it's awesome.
Without the 144, both of us were without that.
I mean, I didn't have any other option. I had no other option.
There was no coach telling us you're going to make a trials. They're just like, you can watch the trials.
So so it was just me, Vidge, and Alan, and it's so crazy to think back to that time, because I didn't know any better, and I was having so much fun. I was just running with Alan, and
you're like, I'm running with Alan Webb. This kid ran 3:53 in high school. Like this is,
dude, he was
6 in the mile. Like,
yeah. What was training with Alan Webb like?
Intense, very intense. He's
all out, man. He goes for it,
dude. Yeah, he's all in with whatever he does. He is all in, and it was very new to me, because college, it's like, we jerked around all the time. Like, there were days where we'd go run to the parking lot and hide in the parking garage, because we're like, yeah, fuck this, I'm tired. And then, so Alan, it's like he's Alan. Yeah. I don't know how else to describe him. It's hard to put it into words, but everything had purpose. Everything was very deliberate, and there was no very calculated. And he's an amazing talent. I mean, he could just do anything. One of the first workouts I ever did with him, he had a 4-mile tempo, and I did a 3-mile tempo. Oh, that's actually funny. So I ran 3 miles in 14:43. I remember that now, and that's what Josette just ran for 5K. So that's actually hysterical. So I run 3 miles in 14:43, so just under 5-minute pace, and I'm like dying. And Alan runs his last mile in 4:19. Closing in 60.
Jesus. It's funny with Alan, because I don't remember the race, but I remember I watched this. He ran a mile. I think he won the race, and it was like a good time. It was, low 350s, because he's a monster. And and then all of a sudden, the other races are going on, watching me, and there's Alan Webb in the infield just doing all out strides, like hard strides in the infield, 100 take back. It's like obviously doing like a secondary little thing inside, and it's like, Jesus, you're looking at going, okay, that's what it takes. Like, that's what I need to be able to do in order to have a sniff at greatness. And, it's a kind of eye-opening when you notice those types of things. And was that kind of something that you got training with Alan, like a little eye-opening, like if I want to be great, this is where I need to be type of deal?
Totally. It was not to say that I wasn't taking it seriously, because I really did care about my running, but I didn't know how much I could care about it. And he really taught me that. And that's something that I've kept with me, oh my God, 12 years later. And it's 11 years later. He was exactly what I needed at that time in my life. And I like to think I helped him. I helped level him out a little bit. I was always making jokes, and that's just kind of who I am. And every once in a while I get a laugh out of him, and every once in a while I get a, hey, shut up. Like, let's do this.
Shut up, kid.
yeah, shut up, you freaking punk. But Alan was, it he was genuinely happy for me when I was running well, and he was a really great friend, and I really valued my time with him, and he ended up moving back to Portland after that 2012 season, and I ended up moving back to New Jersey that fall. So it ended up like I think we both got exactly what we needed for that 6 months that we trained together, and I'll definitely never forget running with him. He was very impressive.
So go ahead, Dave.
Oh, so then after that, you come back here and you run for the New Jersey, New York track club, right?
That's right.
Wikipedia has wrong. They put New York,
Well,
New
no,
Jersey. We
Julie
need to
Cully made it
that.
clear that it's
That's
New
right.
Jersey first.
Yeah.
He made it clear.
Yeah, but Wikipedia has that
clear.
wrong. So we need to contact Wikipedia, which they have everything wrong,
bullshit.
but still, they have New York, New Jersey.
She made
and
it.
that was nonsense.
Dude, so did Julie tell you guys that story
Of
about New Jersey, New York?
Yeah, she was adamant. She's like, no, there were more of us from Jersey, and we said, no, it's Jersey first.
Her and Aaron Donahue, yeah,
Yep.
It was New Jersey, New York,
Yeah.
And Gags, he's a Jersey. Well, he coached
Gags
in
is
Jersey,
from
so it's
Roselle Catholic. He coached.
Roselle Catholic, yeah, Roselle Park, yeah. He's
Georgetown forever. He's a legend.
dude. It's really cool. But yeah, New Jersey, New York, man. So I was there for a year, and Mike Rutt, I still call him Dad. That's so funny because he just took me under his wing and taught me how to not be a college kid anymore. And
Mike's an awesome dude. He was our first guest for a nothing podcast. He was like, yeah, I'll jump on. That meant a ton to us because we had no idea what we were going to really be. And then Mike comes on. It was fantastic.
Dude, what a great guy. I mean, just overall, what a
Dr. Rutt now, right?
Yeah.
Doctor, that's right, man. Dude, he's being I think he's becoming a PT or I forget if he graduated or not, but I mean, what a great human, and his wife Katie. I mean, they have two beautiful kids. It's talk about getting what you need at that moment. Like he was exactly what I needed at that point. I was a lost puppy, and he did his darndest to keep me in line. And I have a lot to thank for Mike Rutt that year. That's for sure.
That's awesome.
So 2012 comes. It goes. You're training and everything. Talk about what it was like with the run up to your tries at the Olympics, things in Worlds and things like that, eventually leading to 2016.
Yeah. Oh man. So anyway, yeah. So 2012. So March 1st, I make the big decision. I'm leaving school and I'm going to sign with an agent, and I'm going to make a big run at this Olympic team because that's what running's all about. And Ray had a hard time finding me a contract because I was injured during the indoor season, like I'd said. So the companies weren't thrilled to jump up on me because it's like, well, if he's hurt, we don't want to make this investment if he's not even going to run at the trials, let alone the Olympics. And so fast forward, a few months, and I run 3:34 at Oxy, and I run down Mo Farah and Galen Rupp, and it's like I lose to them by less than a tenth of a second. It was a cool finish. We ran 3:34. I closed in 53. It was wild, a magical night. Still my PR to this day. And after that, all of a sudden, Adidas was like, yeah, I think we like them. So now I got Adidas, and but again, it's the 15. It's at this point I'm still an 8 guy. Vidge is all in on the 800, and I run 145 flat. A few weeks later, at the Adidas Grand Prix at Icon Stadium, where Radisha ran 142 or something. It was wild.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Yeah. But so it's so then we get to the trials. I'm planning on the 800, and I get off the plane and my hamstrings kind of jacked up, and I'm scared. I'm this what the hell? What did I just do to myself? And so luckily the 1500's the second half, so we scratched the 800 and we went all in on the 1500. But do you guys want to guess how many 1500s I had run in my life before the Olympic trials? This is going to be a great question if you guys can get this.
I'm going to go.
Was it one?
1500s, not 16s or miles,
Was it
miles, 16.
2.
So I ran one as a freshman. I ran a first round and a second round at ACCs as a sophomore. And then I ran the 3:34. So I'd run 4 1500s before running the Olympic trials in 2012. So I was going to essentially double the amount of 1500s I've run in my life at this Olympic trials. And, again, Vidge didn't care. He's like, dude, you can do it. And I also kind of had to because of my hamstring. And the story goes, Vidge claims, I was a Gatorade and a sandwich away from making the Olympic team. I was so nervous the day of the final of the Olympic trials. I'm just like, my hands are shaking. I'm clanking the breakfast plate. Like I couldn't eat anything. I was so nervous. And we get to the warm up area and I'm just white as a ghost. And Vidge is like, did you eat anything? And I can't even talk. My mouth is so dry and I just shake my head. So he gets a Gatorade and a Cliff Bar and he's like, eat this quick. And I scarf it. It's like a day late and a dollar short. And so I just had nothing in the final and I faded so bad over the last 100. I end up getting fifth. I become the alternate, but it's like, we could both kind of feel the team was like in my hands there. And I kind of let it slip through, which you never know if you're going to get another shot or not. But it was, that was a tough one. That was really, really tough. I felt like I was really prepared. I was in really great shape and, arguably the best shape of my life. And it was, it was a tough pill to swallow. It took me a long time to recover from that. And that's kind of what I was saying about Mike Rutt. A year or two after that, I was still kind of lost and looking for that spark. And Rutt was able to, kind of keep me in line and be like, Robby, you can be really good if you want to be. And I was like, all right, you're kind of right. and it was that. So I was with NJY 13 to 14. And then it was that 2015, the year later that
to Vidge, right? After that.
That's right. I went back to Vidge and that's when I made my first world team. So
I have a quick question before we jump into
yeah.
You're sitting there in that warm-up area and you're obviously, nervous as all hell. Are any of the other pros walking around like, hey, Robby, relax? Like, you obviously all know each other at that point. I know you're fierce competitors, but like track is such a different sport than most others. Did any of the veterans walk up to you like, hey, Andrews, calm down? Like, or was it all business at that point and then it is like, whatever after?
Oh man, dude, no, that's a big payday. You make that Olympic team. It's you're not making many friends out there. And,
Robby, Robby, is it feeling well?
Robby, go puke in the corner. Get away from us. Go away,
dude.
Scratch,
there's not a whole lot of friends out there. It's and I get it. It's
I like that though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait,
screw you, man. It's like it's your career, it's your life. It's you don't always get what you deserve. It's like, you gotta perform. And, truth be told, if I had made that team, I don't know if I would have become the runner I did because everything was coming so easily that year. It's like, I run 334, run down Mo and Galen. And I was like, dude, I just ran a race. Like I didn't realize what I was doing really. I didn't appreciate it. And to have something that that I ended up really wanting so badly just kind of slipped through my fingers because of decisions that I made and my mindset. I mean, it totally changed it. And I'm, forever grateful for that lesson. And it's kind of it's something that I talked to Josette about it, after her Olympic trials in 2021, she had the trials in her hands and it was one of the hottest Eugenes it's ever been. And, she had all this pressure on her and it's just hard. It's really hard, but you can't train for that. Like there's no workout that can prepare you for stepping on the starting line and having an entire country be like, oh, you're supposed to make this team. You're supposed to win the Olympic trials. There's nothing you can do to prepare for that except doing it. And I think it made me better and it helped me get on that team 4 years later. And it's going to help Josette get on the team next year, but absolutely, you really can't practice it.
So going to Worlds, so now you're jumping in, you're about to, you're on your Worlds team. How does that now, like you're now at the official level where you are an ambassador for the United States. Like, it's kind of like you said, you can't prepare to be expected, but I feel like after that trials, you were probably in the mindset of, I'm good enough to be there. I should be going to Worlds. Well, what is that experience like as you're now setting up to really compete on an international stage?
Yeah. So the crazy thing about the U.S. is the selection process, and like you having to place top 3 at the championship, and there's no like selections, there's no third selection slot. It's not like Great Britain has the top 2 automatic, and then they have a selection spot, and a lot of the other countries is just selection. But the U.S. is just it's so competitive, and the importance of performing on that day, regardless of what you've run earlier that year, or even like in the semifinal, whatever,
Yeah.
it really makes you appreciate being on that team, and it makes you want to perform. So getting on that team, it was kind of like, if I can make the US team, I can make a final. And if I can make a final, like, who's going to stop me from being on the podium? And it's like, well, a lot of good runners, but
But your
it's
mentality
like,
going in has to be
yeah,
that way.
exactly. It's like, dude, you got USA on your chest. It's like, it's almost like, well, yeah, I'm going to make the final. Like,
Yep.
meanwhile, the first two rounds are the most difficult things you can do. It's everyone's good. Like, the jump up in talent is remarkable, and the tactics, the speed, the closing. It's such a different world, and even compared to like a Diamond League or something, because there's just this desperation at a championship. Like, if you can get a medal and make a final at a championship, like that, it really does change your life, especially for a lot of the smaller countries that, if you don't have a whole lot of representation. And it's like, if like I don't know how many people live in New Zealand. It's like, but like, I think Manhattan has more people than New Zealand, so
Yeah,
for
yeah.
New Zealand, for Nick Willis winning medals for New Zealand, it's like,
Incredible.
it's incredible,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
same with Australia. It's just like, look at Norway, so it's a different, it's a different mindset, and it definitely took some getting used to, because
Certainly a
like,
skill to like winning those prelims and or placing top two in the prelims without going all out, but not getting out kicked by someone. Like, there's definitely a skill that you see a lot of the people that compete at that level have, or develop at least.
And it's pure
Totally,
racing.
totally.
Like there is no pacer. It's people just racing. Like, it's
That's right.
not about time. It's about like place, and it's about putting yourself in the actual race. Like, time is irrelevant at that point.
And that's something that Vidge always hammered into me. He's like, he cares so much more about racing than he does a time trial. And, for better or for worse, because, as if you want to win medals, you can argue that you have to be in, so and so shape. And, if you never run the time, then how do you know if you're in the shape? But, but Vidge always made sure that I was race sharp. And it's you look at Centro in 2016, and it's like, well, that's
living proof
that's
right
why.
there. Yeah.
And if it's
Tactical genius.
The best runner, the most fit runner, I shouldn't say the best, the most fit runner doesn't always win the race. And that's a really hard lesson to like tell someone, because
Wilson Kipketer is the perfect example. Wilson Kipketer was dominant for a decade in the 800, but could just, for whatever reason, did not put it together in the world's final stage, whether it was Olympics or Worlds.
Crazy.
And, before Rudisha, it was all Wilson Kipketer. Like, so it's like, that's true. Like, he was obviously the best 800-meter runner on the planet, but he didn't have the hardware to prove it when it came to the big times.
Which it's so counterintuitive. It's like, how could a world record holder not win the Olympics or world championships, or, everything? How do you lose if you're a world record holder? And, that's something that I always prided myself on, is I was able to beat guys that had faster PRs than me. And that was kind of like a badge of pride for me. It was like, I don't, your PR doesn't matter in a 340 race. It's like, if you're not running smart, then it's you're not making the final, and that's that. And of course, now since 2016, the races have been absolutely bonkers. Like, now you're talking tactics while you're running 330 pace, and that's a different world compared to like even a 335 race. But that's a different story.
So now we get to 2016. You are on your way to trials. Talk about what that road was like, doing trials and making the Olympic team, and that experience of, going out there, doing the Olympic ceremony, competing in the Olympics.
Dude, the 2016 it was like the best way I can describe it, and the only way I describe it really is, it was just a bubble. Like, I was just living in a bubble. I was training in a bubble. My mind was in a bubble. Like, it was so single-minded, and I was so focused, but at the same time, like, able to live my life in this bubble, that it didn't feel suffocating. And I just had such a good routine going with my training partners and Vidge. It was it was really, really special time. And, looking back, it's, it was truly, truly amazing about what we had going on. And, I've been still trying to recreate that for the last 7 years now, unsuccessfully, might I add. But it was really, really cool to the winter and spring of 2016, and just having my support system all in with me. And it was really, really cool. So we get to the trials, and I'm super confident. I didn't miss a single day of training since the fall before. So the fall of 14 until summer of 16, I hadn't missed a day of training because things were going so well. And we get through. I get in the same position as I did in 2012, getting into the Olympic trials final.
Yep.
And that morning, I sent.
You have a sandwich.
I sent a picture of my breakfast plate to Coach Vidge and said we're gonna do it. And so we're walking to the track later in the afternoon, and his buddy Morty is playing Thunderstruck, and I have my whole posse with me. And I mean, dude, I could have done anything that day. It was insane. If you had told me to climb the Empire State Building, I would have done it. And I just that was the best race of my life, making that Olympic team. And the only person that could beat me was Matthew Centrowitz, who was in Olympic gold medal shape, and he set an Olympic trials record in the meet record. It was a really special day, and just such a sense of relief to go along with pride. And I was really looking forward to competing later that summer at the Olympics, because that's what we were all about. It wasn't about just making it. It was about getting there and really representing the country. Because I didn't have a great final the year before in 2015 in Beijing. I got 11th. I didn't get last, but that's because someone dropped out with 50 meters to go. So, but I was essentially last, and I was like, yeah, that sucked. I'm not getting last again. That was not fun. And I don't know if I'll ever get back into an Olympic final, but I was pretty darn close to making it there. And it was really the journey getting to the Olympic Games was it changed me forever. Just the mindset and the looking back on the way we approach things, it really helped shape who I am today and how I'm gonna tackle things moving forward. But it was just, dude, it's hard to put in context though, the confidence, not the ego, it was just the confidence of walking to the track in Eugene, Oregon with this posse playing Thunderstruck. It was just awesome. We were just on a mission. We were on a mission, and it's I was trying to hit water jumping out of a boat. It was I couldn't miss, man. We prepared really, really well, and I was and we all knew it. And it was such a testament to my group and my support team of helping me get there, because you cannot do this alone, not in this sport. I mean, you guys are coaches. It is impossible to do this sport on your own. And so for me to be walking to that meet to the track with, I think I had six people or so. It was I felt invincible, and I felt like a superhero. It was really, really special. And, they're still my posse today. So they still know, they know what they mean to me.
That's awesome. And obviously, we were all rooting for you for the Olympic Games in 2016. And, the unfortunate thing about the DQ in the semifinals for stepping inside the line, which is, to this day, I think was nonsense, but that's just me.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Me throwing that out there because I thought they were a little quick. You didn't do the 3 steps inside. You took one damn step and you came right back. I thought that was nonsense for them to even say that.
Dude, no blood, no foul. Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. And it's an Olympic semifinal. I thought you were ready to win. You were geared up to win that round. You were in perfect position. That pissed me off to this day.
Yeah. Me and Matthew, dude, I was keying off Matthew, and it really does sting watching back. But if I had just waited half a step and went wide, it would have been fine. But I thought I had room, and I got bumped. I wouldn't have left. It wasn't easier to leave the track. It was not easier to do that. I got bumped. I'm off the track. I get on as soon as I can. And, I ended up getting 5th in the semi, but in top 5 move on. but you know, they did DQ me for stepping on the inside rail, and
Bullshit.
the appeal the appeal was denied for because I was bumped. They said there's no contact, but you know, it is what it is. And, you know, we still had two Americans in that final with Matthew and Ben Blankenship. And,
Yep.
you know, they represented the country more than well enough, bringing home the gold medal. So it was really cool to be part of that trio, even if I wasn't in the final.
So I got to say testament to you, though. You come back next year and beat Matt in the national championships, which I think is a testament to you, because there's a lot of people that will get to that spot, right? We'll get to the, Olympics, a semifinal, have that disappointment and be like, you know what, screw this. Like, I did it. I was there. I had nothing to prove. But then you come back and you're a national champion. What was that like mentally, like to be able to bounce back? Were you still kind of riding cloud nine from even making the Olympic team and going that far? Or did you feel like you had something to prove there?
No, I was pissed. I was so pissed. So I roomed with Clayton Murphy. He was my roommate.
Nice.
And, you know, he got, yeah, he's still one of my best friends. And, he got a bronze medal. And, I went with him to go get the Olympic rings tattooed. And he's like, where are you getting them? And I was like, I'm not getting them, man. Like, I'm not ready for it. Like, it's so raw. I'm so pissed. I'm not getting them. And I was like, I'll get them in Tokyo. And he's like, all right, man, whatever, you know, and he just gets his, you know, he's it's cool. But like, so I kind of, like I was saying, that 2012 trials and the heartache for the years after that, it took me years to recover from that, which, you know, that's my own issues. But so having that experience, I knew how to pull myself up, and I knew how to get myself out of that rut.
A quick phone call to Mike Rutt was like, "My dad, pick me up. You saw what happened. I'm pissed."
You aren't even kidding, man. Dude, Mike he's such a solid guy. He's just so even keeled. It's like there's no up or down with him. He's just going to tell you how it is, and he's going to be positive, and he's going to make you run through a brick wall. And I was like, you know, it's people like that are in your corner that really make the difference. And I had quite a few of them, and Gags is one of them, and Vidge, and my dad, my sister, my family. It's my mom. You know, it was really hard after that. You know, I'm not gonna. There's no way to beat around that bush. Like, I was a mess for the few months after that. Like, I tried to run a few races afterwards, and I don't think I broke 3:45 for 1500. Like, it was. You know, I'm not saying that's a bad time. I'm just saying, like, you know, I went from thinking I was going to win the Olympics to not being able to break 3:45, and it was. So I just needed a break, and I kind of took a longer break than normal between seasons. I think I took a whole 3 weeks, and you know, Vidge, kind of like what I was saying with my dad. My dad let me find it. Vidge kind of said, "Hey, just call me when you want to get running again," and I remember, I'll never forget. I went for, I didn't talk to him for a few weeks because I was on break, and I went for a 4-mile run after my break, and I don't know why, but I just hammered the first run because I was like thinking about the race and whatnot, and I ran like 6:20 pace, like all out, and I called Vidge up, and I was like, "Vidge, we got to get to work, man." He's like, "I've been waiting for the call. Let's do it." And you know, he laid out the plan. He told me what we were going to do, and we got to work, and it didn't click right away. Indoors was a little rough for me that year, but then I kind of leveled out, and we got to the outdoor season, and I was kind of feeling, I got my mojo back, Bitch likes to say. I got my mojo back, and I was kind of firing on all cylinders. And, you know, we went in there with kind of like, you got nothing to lose, man. Like, you made your world team in 15, you made your Olympic team in 16. He's like, you've been set, you were second 2 years in a row. It's like, you know, you can probably get second again. He's like, you know, the players were kind of the same. You know, Matthew was kind of on his Olympic hangover. Like, you know, he had so many, you know, he had talk about the weight of the world, man. You know, that's a heavy crown to wear, Olympic champion. Absolutely. You know, first American in 108 years. Like, it's crazy. So definitely took advantage of him being a little hungover from the Olympics, but also, like, I really wanted it. And, you know, I definitely still had that fire, and not to say he doesn't, because he's one of the most fiery guys you'll ever meet. But I think my fire kind of was a little brighter than his. I had a little more to gain, so to speak. And it was just kind of a perfect day, and just one of those feelings, like you said, like I felt like I could have climbed the Empire State Building that day, and again, just really having getting the confidence from Vidge and my support crew. There was nothing getting in my way that day, and I was there's days where you feel it, you have it, and you kind of know you're having it. And I just remember thinking, with 400 to go, like I was still in fifth at that point, but I was like, I'm going to win this race. And it's that feeling that keeps me coming back. And maybe I need to give that up, but I'm just like, that feeling is just, there's nothing like having that control. And it's really, really cool.
That's awesome. You obviously you etched your name in mid-distance history right there, becoming a national champion. So it's like you were already doing great things, and all of a sudden, and then of course, hangover or not, to beat Matty Central, it's fresh off of his Olympic gold. Like that was, he was the guy that we all expected. Like, oh, Matt's in the race, he's probably going to win it. And there you go. And we're rooting, obviously, always rooting for you whenever you're in a race. And there you go. And I remember just sitting at my screen screaming, like pumped as hell that you won the race. But,
oh my God. Thank you so much, man. It was really cool. My mom and sister, they went to Applebee's to watch, actually. And like
awesome.
They got the whole bar to watch in Manalapan. It was so cool, man. It's to hear stories like that, man. It's just like, I definitely I feel the love. I hope you know that, and that anyone listening, it's like, anyone that you cheer for, whether it's me or whoever, it's like they feel it. It's really, really special to if people are cheering for you or not. So thank you guys.
Awesome. So, obviously right now we're in a situation where your wife is running very well, but what is the future of running for Robby Andrews? What do you have planned? Are we still, are we still looking to win some national championships, Olympics? Like what? Because, I haven't seen you in a ton of places lately. So what are your plans for the future?
So my it's a little sore subject right now. I just hurt my foot. My plantar fascia has been acting up. I haven't run in about 3 weeks now, but I do plan on still competing. My wife Josette has been incredibly supportive of my running, my returning from the Lyme disease, from Achilles surgery. Like, the last 5 years have not been super smooth, pretty much since that national championship. And my wife has been incredibly supportive of me and my running, but more so just of me as a person. So I do still want to compete. I ended up pacing a lot indoor, just with, we just recently moved to Boulder. Yep. So she can join the On Athletics Club, and kind of putting the emphasis a little bit more on Josette. It's like, she's just running out of her mind right now. And
unbelievable.
Thank you guys. Yeah, she had, like, it reminds me a lot of my 2012 to 2016 run. It's like she was in the shape of her life in 21 and just missed making that Olympic team, and then went on to have an amazing summer after that. And then last year she dealt with some injuries, so like things weren't going so great, kind of like how I wasn't doing so great after my 2012 trials. And now the year before the Olympics, she's already run 4:20 in the mile and 14:43 in the 5K.
Her range right now is stupid. It's incredible.
Dude, I wish you guys could come see the workouts, man. They are insane.
It's all because of the new last name. It's just brought her this
oh man,
yeah, Andrew's name has brought her some power.
Yeah, man, dude. Congratulations on her new family 5K record. She took the Andrews 5K time down. So
here's the thing. I'm confident that whenever you bounce back, you're going to come back and you're going to do something great. But I think it's badass that you were pacing, though, because we did talk to Eric Sawinski a few weeks ago. Yep. And, he's doing such a great job doing the pacing. Like, obviously,
he's a machine.
Some of the world record events. So talk about that. What was that? How different was that for you? Well, because Eric talked about it and he said he went into it thinking like he was racing that day. How do you go into like pacing right now as you're trying to pace these high level races?
Here's the thing about Eric Sawinski. He's in monster shape right now. He texts me some of his workouts. Like he did some like 300s or something last week. It was like bunch of threes and a bunch of twos. he averaged like 35 for the threes and like 22 for the twos. I'm just like, how are you so fast? Like, dude, exactly. It's crazy. Like, he's in monster shape right now. I'm like, dude, you're gonna run 144 this year. Like, I gotta.
That's what we told him.
Without a doubt, we told him. I told him he was going to break 144 this year. I think he's going to go 143.
Everyone thinks he's all done, and he's just a pacer, but he made it clear he still plans going U.S. Nationals, and he still knows that he can run fast.
Yeah,
good for you guys. Thank you. And like, it's funny because you watch him pace, and you're like, dude, just keep going. It's like,
you said it's frowned upon.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like,
we asked him that. We're like, have you ever thought about just keep on going? He's like, I probably wouldn't be asked.
He's like, you better win. If you do that, you better win.
How the hell is Eric Sawinski not sponsored? That just still pisses me off.
Yeah,
man. He's. We talk about this a lot, because we're both unsponsored right now. He's
on screen more than anybody else in the whole race.
Dude, he's a very valuable runner. It blows my mind. He's just so consistent, and I would think that's what companies are looking for in a runner is consistency. But I know they care more about who crosses the finish line. But at this, it's I don't know, we don't need to get into that, but
I actually do kind of want to get into that because this kind of gels into my next question, because you know what?
Yeah, let's hear it.
We had some other things to talk about, but your story was amazing. But I want to ask this because we ask all like the good runners, the big runners that we have on, and even people, that have just been around the sport. How do we improve the sport of track and field? Because you were a pro and you were obviously at the highest level of United States track and field for middle distance for, a decade plus, right? You were right there in terms of high school, college, pro. What can we do to improve? We've had ideas from everyone else. If you were to get, say, USATF came to you and said, Robby, it's all yours. Make us a better sport.
How do we get those casual fans?
How do we get casual fans? How do we make this fair for the athletes? How do we make this fair for the companies? What do we do?
Oh man, dude, I really don't know. It's a really tough question. I just don't even know how to attack it. I saw Michael Johnson tweet a couple weeks ago how he would improve it, and it
kind of excluded some of the field guys, though. It was kind of
exactly. He said cut the field. He said just get rid of it, and I'm like, how can you look Mondo Duplantis in the eyes and say you cannot compete here? We don't.
Ryan Krauser's is amazing.
So Robby, I'll present this to you. So I kind of had an idea that I threw out there. If you were a pro right now coming out of, whatever, Virginia, whatever, and I told you I would contract you for like 6-7 races a year, pay you anywhere between 50 to 100K to show up at these races guaranteed. And what would be something where we'd have 2 days of like prelims, and then Friday would be, Thursday would be field day, Friday sprint day, Sunday distance day. Would you sign up to do something like that?
So
if it was like a consistent guaranteed money, but you have to show up, like we have to be able to promote that you're there.
Guaranteed money's good, man. Yeah, I'll take that. I'd sign up for that. Yeah. So I think I like that. And something that Michael Johnson did tweet that I really agreed with was the 4 majors, kind of like golf or tennis, or both. Yeah. And because right now this once every 4 years thing, that's not going to cut it. Like that, how the hell do you have a fan base once every 4 years?
You don't.
But like, that's kind of what makes Marcel Jacobs that superstar. It's like, you get to call yourself the fastest man on the planet for 4 years until the next Olympics, regardless of what other champion, it's like Olympic Olympics is different than a world champion.
People who don't watch it except for every 4 years know him as winning the Olympics.
That's right. So then do you just say, I don't know what you do, but like if you have 4 of those races a year, wouldn't you, as a fan, want to watch that? Because I think so. Like, especially if you commit, if you have those top runners commit, and we also don't need to beat around the bush. Like the sprints are way more entertaining than the 10K. And like
the average person, yes.
To the average person, correct. Yes.
To a nerd like me or something like that, and
but you could put things in there that it's like, okay, these guys in this 10K final, my idea would be only finals on those big days. So I think that would help. But in this 10K final, these guys are running 5+ minute miles for every mile for 6+ miles. The average person can't do 5 minutes. Like 80% of the population can't run, whatever it is, number cannot run. Like, kind of put it in perspective how fast these people are. I feel like that would help, because the 10K, I don't buy that, because we watch golf, we watch NASCAR, we watch tennis, we watch baseball. They're not the most entertaining sports until you get into the intricacies of all of them, right? The big fans enjoy the difficult part of it. NASCAR, they're an inch away at 180 miles per hour. Baseball, pitcher versus the batter, like all these things. Like, if you can really get into the dynamics of the sport, it will pull people into it. I think, like, we can't dismiss how, like, if we can really educate people on how freaking difficult it is to run, the 43 5K as a female is ridiculous. how we need to educate people on this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's huge. Like, a lot of people just say, "Oh, like, they're just running around in an oval." Like, it's so much more. And if we could,
we talk in ovals, though.
Yes, we do. But if we could educate the general public more and say, like, how hard at this, because it's insane how hey, why don't you just go try to pick up a 16-pound bowling ball and see how far you could throw it with one hand. Like, try to put it in, like, layman's terms, put things in perspective. Let's see, these guys are throwing it 76 feet. This shot put, it's inhuman.
Yeah.
So then how do we present that to them? Because how do we get them to watch that?
So honestly, I like a combination, because we got a lot of feedback from people. Sarah Slattery said, "Let's gamble on betting." I think that would be
huge. Yeah, totally.
I suggested that we would have to do it in, like, a horse racing style, which would dehumanize the athletes a little. I get it. That would kind of suck for you guys, like, but at the same time, you're not always going to know. And if you're a casual bettor, you're not going to know who's running. But if you could see this is what they've done in this race for the past times, you could bet, win, place, and show. That would make people more interested in kind of putting a bet on there. And then Eric brought up sponsorships, small sponsorships, but a lot of them on the singlets. And I said, keep the front clean, put them on the back, though. Let the back of the singlets be, filled up, but I would be fair. Keep the fronts clean. If they want to keep the fronts clean,
business in the front,
Yep.
Business in the front, party in the back.
Party in the back.
That's a great point, because right now, I saw Eilish McColgan just had I think she got injured, but she had to withdraw from the London Marathon because there was going to be a conflict with her second sponsor on her singlet.
Which is so stupid.
It's like, so now the races are going to limit the athletes' earning potential. Like, how is that fair? Like, it's like, and I know it's a complicated situation, but, like, if I don't know, if Google wants to sponsor someone, it's like, then shouldn't they be allowed to? Like, I don't know.
This is the fight with the AAU 50 years ago, though, because this is exactly what they were doing to the athletes back then 50 years ago. Well, this is a little too complicated. Getting pros involved would be difficult. Meanwhile, all the Eastern Europeans with, like, Lasse Viren, they were all pros. And
look at Prefontaine, like he was living in a trailer park.
Exactly. So it's like we're going through the modern day argument of the AAU to pro, and now it's like, okay, they're pros, but they're kind of beholden to the big meets, and, like, and Sawinski was saying, like, if you sign to Brooks, they're going to tell you, you're coming to a Brooks meet, you need to win. And it's like that kind of like that type of pressure. I can imagine you probably had that type of pressure at the Adidas Grand Prix. It's like, we just signed you, you better come and win this race. And it's like, okay, that's kind of not how running works, but I'm going to do it. Like,
well, I mean, yeah, like this weekend, like, it's just like in that innate pressure. It's like, the on track fest, like, that was an awesome atmosphere. Like, they put a ton of money. Like, it was cool. And, like, it looked like everyone had a ton of fun there. There was beer there, which is a big improvement, people can say. Yes. There was food trucks. There was a concert there. Like that's fun. Like, that's okay. Like, that's a sporting event. Like, sure. But then it's like, well, Josette, like, you have to lead at some point. Like, you have to make this a good race, because this is an on event. Yeah. And, like, they would never say that to her, but, like, you feel it, it's kind of like you just feel it. Yeah, exactly. And, like, you want to represent your company well at their event too, but it's like, that's tough. It's not easy to do that. And, luckily On actually had almost every winner of each event. Which was really impressive.
So strong. It's incredible what they've been able to do. But, to Michael Johnson's thing, the Michael Johnson's thing, that would be good if we can kind of pit the big companies against each other, right? With the majors.
Yes.
On could have a major. I don't want Nike. Nike can kick rocks, but Adidas can have a major. Brooks can have a major. Like, and let them have it. So now it's
New Balance.
up to them. New Balance. It's up to them
New
now.
Balance, Asics, sure, yeah.
It's up to them to promote and raise money for their event. And, you know, don't make the athletes beholden to your event. Doesn't matter what's on their chest. Doesn't matter their sponsorships. The pressure is on you guys as the big sponsor of the major to get eyes and get the athletes to want to come. So there is something to that.
So then, yeah, so I totally agree. That should be on the shoe companies or the meets, like, to get eyes on the screens and seats in the stand and butts in the seats in the stands. Like that's the big thing, is like, you got to get people to show up. You got to get them to come out. And like, that's one of the big problems with, Eugene attendance last year at the World Champs. It's like, who's going to fly to Eugene for the Pac-12 championships, the NCAA championships, the US championships, and the World championships?
Yeah.
Like, that's who can fly into Eugene, Oregon that frequently. It's just,
Dave brings it up all the time, the lack of outdoor facilities, just specific outdoor. Like, we're using a college as our mecca. Like, I love Oregon in there, but you know, outside of Icon, over where the Adidas Grand Prix is,
I can't really think of
do we have? Like, where are the other ones? Like, I don't know if we have another actually decently major outdoor facility that is just for track and field.
Which is why indoor track is cool, because there's billions of them.
Yeah.
You know?
In the US, yeah. And they're all in Boston.
Yeah, and they're all amazing, actually. Like, they're ridiculous. But yeah, it's a complicated question, I know.
No, but yeah, in, you know, like Mount Sac, like that, they just redid that stadium, and it was beautiful, but it sucked seeing empty seats. Like, you know, to watch the talent that was on that track and just seeing it completely. And I know the Lakers were playing and, you know, whatever, but like, you know, still there were, and it's in Los Angeles or out. Well, that's the thing. It wasn't really in.
Here's a question to you, Robbie, as a pro. As a pro, how difficult is it for you to commit to a race a month on out, a few weeks on out with your training schedule? Because I feel like that would help. If we could sit there and we knew that Robby Andrews, you know, Clayton Murphy, Maddie Central going to be here, and we knew this a month ahead, contract signed. But with that, there should be guaranteed money coming to you guys just for being there, right? You know, you win, you get more. Here's guaranteed for showing up. But now we can promote you. How would that, like, would you be able to commit to something like that a month before, like, as well as having races maybe in between, or a race in between? Like, how difficult would that be as a pro?
So you're describing the Diamond League. Like, that's what they do. Like, they
can promote their people.
Like, we can tell you right now, who's going to be in Oslo or whatever, or in Florence. It's like, so people, I don't know how great the marketing is, but the meet directors know well in advance who's running the races. And I think, but having these races on different continents, it's like, how is a casual fan gonna?
Doesn't help here.
You need to hear.
And
yeah, it's. I mean, and so I know we're jumping around a ton here, but that's kind of like what Vinland and his Tracktown was trying to do. So he had those 4 teams, and one was in you know, teams, whatever you want to call them, like Philadelphia, New York, San Francisco, and Portland. And it's like he was trying to get like the city to back up their team, but they put a ton of money into it. That was great for the athletes. Like, we love that as athletes, because we knew, like you said, we knew the schedule and we knew who was going to be there, and it was
stay home
winner
here,
each time
in the States.
Yeah, exactly.
It's what we were used to in high school and college, right? Like, it's nothing new. If it's done to an athlete, it's not new. It's what we were used to. We knew our schedule. We knew what meets we were trying to hit. We knew who we were going to compete against. Generally, like, it made sense.
Yeah, exactly. And like, like any given weekend, you guys know exactly where you're going to be and what to expect. And as a pro, that's somewhat true for the Diamond League, but the outdoor championship also changes. Like, last year, it was in the second week of July, which is now when the US championships are, and the World Championships is like the last week in August. It's like, so there's just no consistency. And I think that's really hard for a fan to follow something if they don't even know when to expect a championship. It's like, you know, look at freaking Mr. October. It's like, you know when the baseball playoffs are happening. You know when the Super Bowl Sunday is, and it's it's very consistent and it's predictable. And how do you make that into a track season? I don't know. How do you make that into a profitable business where, and I will say injuries in track are way higher than other sports.
Yes.
I mean, like astronomically higher. And so that's really hard when you build this race of, Fred Curley versus Marcel Jacobs. And a week before, Curley's like, ah, shit, I tweaked my hamstring. Like, and now what is he going to do? Not run or run at 50%? And then it's like, it just fizzles out. It's really complicated. It's super interesting. And I wish there was a simpler answer, because I think if there was, it would have been found out by now. But we might just need one person's point of view that we haven't had yet to like find the missing piece or something.
I also think too, like a lack of like one TV network, like you never know where it is.
Body. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You have to pay for
it's ridiculous.
You have to pay for Peacock, like it's there's not much of it that's free on TV. Like even the Track Fest was awesome, but
pay-per-view,
or the Adidas games from this weekend.
That was YouTube. That was great. Yeah.
Nothing was live free on TV for the casual fan.
Yeah.
So they're just, oh my God, there's track on. I'm going to watch it. Like you have to know where it is to be able to find it.
You have to know where, when, and what to click.
Yes. You got to give the secret handshake and know the password in order to get in. And if you guess the wrong one, they ring you up, throw you out.
Hey, who you cheering for? The Lyles or Knighton? Yeah, I don't know if you're going to be allowed to watch here. Yeah.
Basically.
Well, I need Peacock for that meet, and then that one I have to go over to Flow Track, and then that one's on ESPN Plus, and that one's like they're all over the place.
So, Robby, lastly, before I let you go, we like to get a snippet from all of the former people that competed at Meet Champs. Obviously you're a Meet Champ champion 2 times, but they keep on seeming to want to mess with the Meet Champion structure in both XC, track and field, and things like that. It seems like they've died down a little bit, but I'd like to get snippets from all of you guys. What does Meet Champions mean to you? What did competing there and being a champion mean to you? And why should New Jersey just not touch it and leave it the way it is?
Because not every state has a Meet Champions. Like it ends at the group level. Like here in Jersey, you get a chance to see who's the best of the actual best. And I think that's one of the coolest things in the world to compete at the Meet Champs.
Dude, it is remarkable how many people call themselves a state champion without beating everyone in their state.
Yep.
It is
all the time.
It blew my mind when I learned that kids called themselves state champions because they beat everyone in their school size.
Their region or whatever. Yeah.
You don't even know what a Meet of Champions is. And the to be able to say, like, it just means it has so much more weight, but no one else really understands that unless you went through it, because, the group champs are freaking tough.
They're grueling.
Winning a group, groups is tough. And top 6 in your group, it's like, New Jersey just happens to be one of the most talented states in the country.
Now it's top 3, I think.
Wow. It's like, that's like who, like why? I don't know. But, Meet of Champs to win your overall state champ, especially in cross, when you're literally dwindling the state down into the better and better and better and better kids.
And everyone's running the exact same event. Like it's
exact same event,
same course.
Yes. Basically same court. Yeah, exactly. It's like everyone ran the group champs at Homedale the week before. You have 7 days to prepare. Good luck. Talk about getting a fan base. It's like, you know exactly when Meet of Champs is going to be. It's cool. But on the track, it's to be able to call yourself like a Meet of Champions, like a state winner, it holds so much more weight than I don't want to take away from a kids winning state championships, because it's not their fault that they don't have that. They don't have it. I'm not knocking any of the kids. It's just,
hey kids, listen, Robby's calling you all fake state champs if you don't come from Jersey.
Don't you forget it. So it's just, I don't know why New Jersey does it, but it's freaking sweet. And it's, we get to brag about it all the time. Here we are, we're still talking about it all these years later. So I really like it. Josette loves Meet the Champs. It's like she said the same thing when she got to school at UNC in Georgetown. It's like kids are like, yeah, I won like 20 state championships, and she's like, I could have only won like 4. Like it doesn't work like that. And so it's just I don't know. It's really cool. Meet the Champs. If you're listening, NJSIA, if you're listening, leave it alone.
And bring it to Rutgers. Have it there.
Oh my God.
Bring it to Rutgers.
Boom.
Dude, why not? It's like,
and they're doing so many upgrades there.
It's central. It's Central Jersey. Did you hear that? It's Central New Jersey.
What is Central Jersey?
It's where the unicorns live, man.
Exactly. It doesn't actually exist, right? All right, Robby, this was lots of fun. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Dude, guys, this is I needed this, man. It's good for the soul to talk Jersey. Thank you so much, and best of luck with coaching, and I hope to see you on the track soon.
Yeah, once again, he is Robby Andrews, New Jersey great, 2 times Meet the Champs champion, 2016 Olympian. Not shy to say that when you're talking about some of the better athletes from Jersey, you're Frankie Eggers, Quentin Nelson's, people like that, Mike Trout. Like Robby's absolutely up there with
Sidney McLaughlin,
the thing Mo. Like Robby's there.
Ajay.
Yep, Ajay. Like Robby's right there with the
Carl Lewis
from Jersey, all that. So, yeah, we can keep going, but. Definitely he's there and we appreciate it. Robby, you had a few things you wanted to shout out. Give some shout outs to some of the things you're doing, coaching, working on. What do you got?
Oh man, we spent so much time talking about my dad. I have to shout out his youth program. It's Gone Running,
awesome.
Based out of Manalapan. And so it's youth all the way. I think he doesn't really have a low end on the age. He kind of like if you bring your kid, you're more than welcome, but goes up to middle school. So about, was that 12 or 13 years old. And it's he's got a program. If you're looking for a Junior Olympics type of atmosphere, if you're, he had a national champion in cross country last year, Jessica Abbott at Toms River, actually.
Toms River North.
And that's right. That's
freshman year.
Oh yeah, she's great. And so actually he's had a lot of success of bringing athletes into the sport gently and kind of at their own pace. So like Emma Zawatsky out of Freehold Township, she came up through Gone Running. Yeah, she's absolutely incredible, and her whole family. But so if you're looking for, they do summer programs, they do fall programs, indoor track. They get in a gymnasium and he makes a little indoor track. It's super cool. So there's a program for. Yeah, they go up to the Armory to get on the wood track that's underneath the bank track now. Yeah,
I ran on that track.
So it's really cool what he's built all the way back in 2010. So if you're just getting in, or if you're super experienced, he's got a place for you, and that's Gone Running out of Manalapan and Middletown. I think he has a program.
I want to mention you're also doing some online coaching, right? You said
that's right. That's right.
Yep. Contact him, randrascoaching@gmail.com if you're interested.
Yeah, thank you guys. So I have I'm putting together some summer programs for cross country, just kind of return after outdoor track. Kind of been putting those together, and whether it's for your team or just an individual, if you're kind of running unattached, it's a great 8-week program. And I make it, we talk on the phone as much or as little as you want, but it's worked for people in the past, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback. So I'm really happy to kind of be giving back to not just New Jersey, but runners from all over. It's been kind of a full circle effect for me to be able to kind of help people have success in the sport that kind of gave me a life. So if you're looking for advice, or you're looking for a training program, please let me know. RAndrewsCoaching@gmail.com. Thank you guys.
And lastly, Bandit Running, talk about it. I don't want to leave them out.
Yeah, Bandit Running, man. So I'm an ambassador right now for Bandit Running. They're a company based out of New York City, out of Brooklyn, and they're kind of a community company. They love group runs, meeting up, and all about like taking over the bridge and stuff. They do the Brooklyn Mile. They put together some really cool in-person events, run clubs, running groups, and training programs again. And so they have some really awesome what's the word I'm looking for? Running flows that they're just all about community and keeping people engaged. And, I think after COVID, I think we're still all kind of trying to get together as groups more and more. So it's really cool what they stand for as a company. And it's something that I wholeheartedly back.
Awesome. So once again, he's Robby Andrews. Want some coaching, go get it from him. The coaching genes are strong. Go support band. If you have any kids in the the short conference area, Manalapan and stuff, go over there, teach them how to run. That's awesome. Once again, we are talking Nobles. My partner over there, Dave Hyatt. I'm Alex Cuesta. Give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, 5-star rating if you like what you heard, and especially spread it word of mouth. Go talk to other trackies, other runners. Tell them we're bringing on the best in the business and hearing their stories, because in the end, you heard Robby. One of the major things that we hear, all the greats struggle. All the greats have had their down times. They're the same as all of us. Running is very similar across the sport. So definitely go let people know. And we'll be back next week. Send us more of your PRs. So long, everybody.